In war, truth is often the first casualty, and sometimes lies decide everything. From forged documents planted on dead men to phantom armies that pinned entire divisions in place, we are counting down 10 deceptions so audacious they altered the fate of nations. Fake tanks, double agents, fabricated spy networks, and coded signals, all engineered to mislead. Each one a weapon as decisive as any bomb or bullet. These are the greatest deceptions that changed the course of history. And at number 1, a corpse carried secrets and changed a battlefield. And finally, in first place, a corpse that carried secrets and changed a battlefield. In the spring of 1943, Allied planners faced a deadly equation. The invasion of Sicily was coming, and the Germans knew it was the logical next step. To tip the odds, British intelligence conjured a deception so audacious it reads like fiction. They took the body of Glyndwr Michael, a Welsh drifter. They transformed him into Major William Martin of the Royal Marines and loaded his pockets with a forged identity, love letters, and most crucially, a briefcase chained to his wrist. Inside the briefcase, a letter from the Vice Chief of the Imperial General Staff outlined fake Allied plans to invade Greece and Sardinia, with Sicily mentioned only as a decoy. On April 30th, 1943, HMS Seraph surfaced off the coast of Huelva, Spain. The crew released the body into the sea, trusting both the tides and the tangled loyalties of Spanish officials. German agents in Spain intercepted the documents and, convinced of their authenticity, sent copies straight to Berlin. Ultra intercepts later confirmed the ruse had worked. Hitler ordered reinforcements to Greece and Sardinia. Field Marshal Rommel personally inspected Greek defenses. Sicily, left underdefended, fell to Allied forces with far fewer casualties than expected. Operation Mincemeat did not just fool the enemy, it reshaped the campaign. The chain of evidence is unbroken, from the forged letters to the decrypted German orders. Mussolini's regime collapsed within weeks, and the road to Rome opened. In the calculus of war, a single body changed the fate of nations. In second place, a phantom army held the fate of Europe in its invisible grip. Operation Fortitude, masterminded in the months before D-Day, conjured the illusion of an immense Allied force. FUSAG, the first United States Army group, camped in southeast England and poised to strike at Pas-de-Calais. At the center of this mirage stood General George S. Patton, the most aggressive Allied commander, chosen precisely because his reputation would make the threat believable to German eyes. The deception ran on multiple tracks. Inflatable tanks and wooden aircraft dotted the Kent countryside, their shadows convincing Luftwaffe reconnaissance that a massive buildup was underway. Radio operators filled the airwaves with scripted traffic, simulating entire corps in motion. Double agents controlled by British intelligence fed corroborating details to Berlin, weaving a consistent picture of an invasion force that did not exist. The German high command bought the illusion completely. The 15th Army, 9 divisions strong, remained entrenched at Pas-de-Calais for weeks after the Normandy landings. Convinced the real blow was yet to fall, Ultra intercepts captured the mounting frustration among German field commanders, unable to redeploy desperately needed reinforcements to Normandy. The Allies exploited this delay, breaking out from the beachhead while the bulk of German reserves sat idle, watching for a blow that never came. Operation Fortitude did not just shield the Normandy invasion, it magnified Allied strength, turning shadows and whispers into a decisive weapon. The success of this deception bought the Allies a critical window, altering the balance of power in Western Europe and ensuring that the greatest armada in history landed with the element of surprise. Coming to the top 3, Operation Bodyguard stands as the grand design that cloaked the Normandy landings in a web of calculated misdirection. Conceived in late 1943 and launched in the tense months before D-Day, Bodyguard was more than a single ruse. It was a symphony of deception, orchestrated by the London Controlling Section and sanctioned at the highest levels of Allied command. Every strand of the plan was woven to manipulate German expectations, including feints toward Norway and the Balkans, threats to southern France, and elaborate naval maneuvers along the English Channel. Radio traffic, dummy camps, and controlled leaks through double agents all moved in lockstep, each reinforcing the illusion of multiple Allied invasions. The planners synchronized false invasion dates, shifting their narrative as the real operation approached. As German intelligence tracked these signals, Hitler grew convinced that Normandy was merely a diversion, with the true blow still to come at Pas-de-Calais, or even Scandinavia. Ultra-intercepts later confirmed that this belief persisted for weeks after Allied troops stormed the beaches, and 15 to 20 German divisions remained fixed in the wrong places, unable to respond to the real threat. Bodyguard strength lay in its coherence. Every deception, large or small, was timed and tuned to the master plan, creating a reality so convincing that the enemy could not see through the fog. In the calculus of war, it was not just the landing craft at Normandy that made history. It was the invisible hand guiding where the enemy looked and where they did not. In third place, the Ghost Army blurred the line between art and warfare on the battlefields of Western Europe. Officially known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, this unit of just over 1,000 men wielded deception as their weapon of choice. Their arsenal included inflatable Sherman tanks, rubber artillery, and canvas aircraft, life-sized illusions that, from a distance or a reconnaissance plane, looked indistinguishable from the real thing. Sound engineers rolled out trucks fitted with 500-watt speakers, blasting pre-recorded battle noises across the French countryside. The unit's radio operators scripted transmissions to mimic entire divisions on the move, creating a web of false signals that German intelligence tracked with growing frustration. The Ghost Army's performances were more than mere spectacle. In the weeks after D-Day, they staged entire phantom divisions along the front, drawing German artillery and panzer attacks away from genuine Allied advances. In the critical push across the Rhine, their decoys convinced enemy scouts that a major crossing would happen miles from the true target, shielding real troops and saving countless lives. After-action reports now preserved in the National Archives detail how enemy commanders fired barrages at shadows, sometimes for days, while the real unit slipped by, unseen. The Ghost Army's blend of creativity and technical skill transformed battlefield deception from a sideshow into a tactical lifesaver, proving that a handful of artists and engineers could rewrite the story of a campaign with nothing but paint, sound, and a well-timed illusion. In fifth place, the Battle of Midway turned on a single, carefully planted lie. In the spring of 1942, as Japanese forces swept across the Pacific, American cryptanalysts at Station Hypo raced to break JN-25, the Imperial Navy's complex code. Their efforts revealed only fragments, enough to suggest a major attack was coming, but not the target. The Japanese referred to it only as AF. To confirm their suspicion that AF meant Midway Island, the Americans staged a silent test. The garrison at Midway transmitted an unencrypted message saying their water distillation plant had broken down. Within days, Japanese intercepts reported that AF was short of fresh water. The deception had worked. Admiral Nimitz now had the proof he needed to position his carriers for an ambush. On June 4, 1942, the Japanese fleet arrived expecting surprise. Instead, American dive bombers struck at the heart of their armada, sinking 4 carriers in a matter of hours. The loss crippled Japanese naval power and shifted the balance in the Pacific. The Midway deception was not just about reading codes. It was about planting the right falsehood at the right moment and using the enemy's own intelligence network to turn uncertainty into a decisive advantage. In the Pacific Theater, a single, crafted message set the stage for a victory that changed the course of the war. Number 6, the double-cross system transformed the very nature of wartime deception from a series of clever tricks into an institution of controlled misinformation. Inside a nondescript office at WWII, the XX Committee convened week after week, reviewing the fate of every German agent caught on British soil. The protocol was strict. captured spies faced a stark choice: collaborate or face execution. Those who agreed became conduits for a steady stream of carefully crafted lies, each message vetted, revised, and approved by layers of intelligence officers before being transmitted back to Berlin. The system's power lay in its bureaucracy. Hundreds of false reports, each plausible and consistent, flowed through the hands of committee members, their contents calibrated to reinforce the broader Allied narrative. The XX Committee tracked every detail: agent code names, message frequency, even the tone of correspondence, ensuring that the web of deceit never tangled itself. Secretaries logged every transmission. Analysts cross-referenced agent stories, and planners synchronized these reports with ongoing military operations. By 1944, the double-cross system had turned nearly every German agent in Britain into a controlled asset. The flow of misinformation supported major operations, including the elaborate feints that shielded the Normandy landings. After the war, evaluations credited the system with shaping German perceptions at every critical juncture. The success of Double Cross was not the work of a single genius, but of a disciplined machine, one that showed how bureaucracy, when wielded with precision, could become a weapon as decisive as any tank or bomb. Number 7. Garbo, the man who conjured an army from thin air and sold it to the enemy. Juan Pujol Garcia, a failed poultry farmer from Barcelona, became the most improbable master spy of the Second World War. With nothing but imagination and nerve, he invented a network of 27 sub-agents, none of whom existed outside his own coded reports. Each had a backstory, a job, even a family. Garbo wove their tales into a tapestry so convincing that the German Abwehr paid salaries, sent medals, and trusted his network more than their own field officers. His genius lay in the details. Rather than flood Berlin with wild rumors, Garbo mixed truth with fiction in careful doses. He reported real Allied convoys, always a day too late, so his handlers could verify his accuracy, building trust with every message. The British MI5, recognizing his value, brought him to London and let him operate as a double agent. His reports, crafted with sly wit and relentless patience, became the backbone of the Fortitude deception, feeding the myth of a massive invasion force poised for Pas-de-Calais. On the eve of D-Day, Garbo sent a critical message to his German masters. He said the Normandy landings were a diversion. The Abwehr believed him. Hitler kept his reserves in the north, waiting for a blow that never came. After the war, Garbo received the MBE in secret. His real identity was hidden even from most of his M15 colleagues. In the annals of deception, Garbo stands alone, a single man whose lies shaped the fate of an entire continent. 8th place belongs to Operation Bertram, a masterclass in battlefield camouflage played out on the open sands of North Africa. In the weeks before the Second Battle of El Alamein, British planners faced a daunting problem: how to conceal the true axis of their armored assault from the watchful eyes of Rommel's Afrika Korps. The solution was as bold as it was ingenious. By day, real tanks were hidden under netting or disguised as harmless supply trucks. At night, those same tanks rumbled forward into their attack positions, while dummy vehicles, nothing more than plywood frames and canvas, were left behind to fool aerial scouts. Engineers constructed a fake pipeline, building it at a deliberately slow pace, suggesting to German observers that no attack could be imminent until it was finished. Meanwhile, vast dummy supply dumps appeared in the southern sector, drawing enemy attention away from the real point of breakthrough. Rommel's staff, relying on reconnaissance and intercepted signals, misread the entire Allied deployment. When the British 8th Army finally struck, they did so from a direction the Axis believed was still unprepared. The surprise was total. Allied armor punched through, opening the road to victory in North Africa. Operation Bertram proved that even in the unforgiving desert, where there are few places to hide, a well-crafted illusion can decide the fate of armies. Number 9. Soviet Maskirovka stands apart as a doctrine, not a single operation. It was a system embedded deep within the Red Army's DNA. From the 1920s onward, Soviet commanders treated deception as an essential weapon, codifying its principles in field regulations and war college curricula. Maskirovka meant more than camouflage. It demanded radio silence, false troop concentrations, dummy bridges, and entire armies conjured from shadows and rumor. Orders from Stavka, the Soviet High Command, required every major offensive to begin with a plan for operational masking, enforced as strictly as artillery barrages and supply lines. No Western army institutionalized deception on this scale. While Allied planners often improvised, the Soviets made Maskirovka a matter of doctrine, practiced in peacetime maneuvers and refined in the crucible of war. The results were devastating. During Operation Bagration in 1944, Soviet forces concealed the movement of over 1 million troops, 6,000 tanks, and thousands of guns. Night marches, fake radio traffic, and elaborate decoys convinced German intelligence that the main attack would fall elsewhere. When the real offensive struck, Army Group Center collapsed. 28 divisions encircled or destroyed in weeks, the front shifting hundreds of miles, almost overnight. Maskirovka's power lay in its scale and discipline. By embedding deception in every echelon, the Red Army turned surprise into a doctrine, not a gamble. It was not a single trick, but a way of war, one that shattered German assumptions and helped tip the balance on the Eastern Front. In the 10th place, the quiet ingenuity of dummy airfields and fake infrastructure stands as a testament to the power of illusion over brute force. During the darkest nights of the Blitz, British engineers and laborers raced to construct entire landscapes of deception across the countryside. Wooden aircraft painted with care to mimic hurricanes and Spitfires lined the perimeters of empty fields. Runways made from tarpaulin and gravel stretched across farmland, while lighting arrays controlled from hidden bunkers flickered to life each evening, replicating the patterns of active RAF stations. The Air Ministry's Q-Site directives called for hundreds of these decoy sites, each designed to draw the attention of Luftwaffe bombers away from vital targets. Dummy factories, complete with cardboard chimneys and painted roofs, appeared near real industrial centers. Bomb damage surveys after the war revealed the impact. In some regions, up to 60% of enemy bombs intended for key factories fell harmlessly on decoys. Reports from the RAF Museum document entire squadrons diverted by the glow of false airfields, their payloads wasted on empty ground, while the real infrastructure remained untouched. The genius of these stationary decoys lay not in technology, but in understanding the psychology of an enemy pilot searching for targets in the dark. By preserving resources and shielding the war effort, dummy airfields prove that sometimes the simplest illusions can save thousands of lives and change the odds of survival on the home front. Across these 10 wartime deceptions, one truth stands clear. Victory often belongs to those who master illusion as well as force. In war, strength matters, and perception can matter even more. These operations prove that sometimes the greatest weapon is not firepower, but belief. The shadows of deception linger long after the battle's end. Subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden side of warfare.